Turn me up just a little bit. Yeah, it's that man space vibe. Step in the zone, microphone check. Russ and Les got the real intellect. Talk smooth like jazz on a late night set. With a convo deep and the topics connect. From the struggles to the wins, they address it with grace. Drop lines so cool, you can feel the bass. Two kings of the craft, and you know the rest. Kick back, pour a drink, welcome to the space. You go chillin' with Russ and Les. You go chillin' with Russ and Les. You go chillin' with Russ and Les. Hang out, cause now you vibing with nothing but the best. Space forever.
Welcome in to another edition of the Manspace Podcast. Now, this is the voice of Russ, and back by popular demand, it is yet another edition of the Russ and Company series. We know just last year, let's say December-ish, just last month, we gave you special bonus editions of the Manspace Podcast, and those were the Russ and Company series where I interviewed with a lot of amazing people. Well, today is going to be no different. I have a special guest that is going to be joining me. Now, Manspace Nation, have you ever really thought about how much coffee that you actually drink? You see, coffee is one of the most widely consumed psychoactive substances in the world, and most of us, it seems harmless, right? Even healthy. There's studies out there that say that coffee is healthy for you. But what if that daily cup of coffee isn't just a habit? What if it's an addiction hiding in plain sight? See, today we're going to dive into a conversation that challenges everything that we think that we know about caffeine. And my guest today, Norbert Heuser, and I probably butchered his last name again, but he is the author of this book right here. It is called Coffee Addiction and Caffeinism. And it's about the everyday coffee drinker as a drug addict. Man, it's going to break down all of the things that you need to know about that drink before you put it into your body. You see, he's a researcher that spent years examining coffee, caffeine, and making it that it's not a productivity tool, but it's socially accepted drug with psychological and physiological consequences. So we're going to dive into it in this episode. Please welcome my guest, Mr. Norbert Heuser. And I probably butchered that again.
No, that's fine. Look, you've been too generous with your compliments. You've been too kind anyway.
But thank you so much for spending time with us here on the Manspace Podcast. For me, we did an episode back in November where we had an expert on and we talked about the addiction to caffeine. And I, for one, since that episode, I've stopped with caffeine. I have been completely off of it. I did it cold turkey, which is probably not one of the most recommended ways to do it. I was one that would drink every day. I started with a cup of coffee. You know, as soon as I got up in the morning and when my wife is still asleep, I go downstairs, I make a cup of coffee, have my coffee. Maybe by 10 o'clock, I may have an energy drink or something like that on top of it. And don't let me have to travel. You know, if I have to travel several hours, usually it's by car, I'm drinking several energy drinks throughout that trip while I'm driving. But I stopped cold turkey. The first day I had a major headache and I drank some salt water. And then after that, I was perfectly fine after drinking the salt water. But I don't miss it. I started replacing my hot beverage with decaffeinated tea. So I drink that now instead of my normal cup of coffee that I would have. I just wanted to ask you, like, why is it that medicines or medical professionals don't consider caffeine an addictive substance?
It's business.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, my philosophy is that sugar and caffeine are the most consumed drugs in the world. They're
Mm-hmm.
both legal, and that makes them so dangerous.
Mm,
You couldn't promote heroin as you promote coffee. All right. You
right.
go on ads on TV and you promote heroin? No, it wouldn't fly, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's basically considered a bad drug, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, coffee seems to be not a drug. That makes it so different, so dangerous. Now, let's step back for a second. I'm talking about caffeine.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee is just one way of caffeine. You have caffeine in black tea,
Mm-hmm.
green tea, white tea, matcha teas. You
Mm-hmm.
have caffeine in most of the soda pops. You have caffeine in every energy drink. And nowadays, more and more in snacks, chewing gum,
Mm,
some energy
yeah.
bars, whatever. There's
Mm-hmm.
caffeine in it.
Right.
And
With
people
the
don't know.
chocolate, dark chocolate, things like that as well.
Yes, yes, there's caffeine in it more than you know. So it's about
Mm-hmm.
caffeine. All right. Um, the fun part is I'm rewriting the book as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm putting more information, and I'm going to structure the book better. So it's going to be better. I know it's going to be better. But for your understanding, the fun part is, who am I to write this book? Because in all my life, I'm not the youngest. I never ever drank coffee.
Really?
Never ever.
Wow.
I love the smell of caffeine, of coffee, fresh
Mm-hmm.
grinded coffee,
Yeah.
but I never drank coffee. I tried it once or twice when I was younger, and it didn't sit
Uh-huh.
well with me, and the acidity, and I felt the blood pressure going up, and I felt uncomfortable.
Real.
So I pulled away from it. Okay. Um, I lived a different life. I was not a saint. And in this lifetime, I never drank alcohol. I never smoked cigarettes. I never took drugs. That was circumstantial and maybe something to do with my past life.
Mm-hmm.
But I had plenty of sex and rock and roll. So I was not a saint. Okay. So, so I was not a saint, right? Because people think, oh, he's a
Right.
nerd. He never drank coffee, never drink alcohol.
Right.
That was a very unusual situation. Okay. And in this book, I explain how I voluntarily turned myself into a coffee addict for 4 weeks.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
I try to give you a crash course because the material is so much. For
Yeah.
better understanding, when I was up to 45 years ago, I was never in hospital. And
Mm.
45 years ago, I became sick overnight, very sick. And I
Hmm.
randomly, by accident, chose a doctor and the yellow pages. There was no internet. Yellow pages was the thing. So, and I randomly picked that doctor. Little did I know that this doctor would change my entire life, and he's the reason I'm here today. This doctor was specialized in food addiction and food intolerance.
Okay.
Um, and my liver was 2 or 3 times the size it's supposed to be. And I was on the verge to die. And he saved my butt, literally. In 2 weeks, he
Mm.
turned my life around. I was so impressed. I was an adult management consultant, life and health coach at this time. I started to be in alternative medicine.
Yeah.
That I asked him, can I do an internship with you? No pay. I just want an internship. I want to learn what you know, and I want to apply it to my clients. Because I found out that most of my clients I consulted were addicted to something.
Hmm.
Okay. So he agreed. I went for 1 year every day except Sunday and Christmas. For 1 year every day. I worked with him.
Yes.
The gentleman at this time was already over 70 years old. And we became real buddies. Okay.
Yes.
Because I was his new guinea pig, volunteering for a lot of experiments he couldn't ask normal patients to do. And I said, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's find out. Okay. And he loved it. So for 1 year, and this year changed my life, it changed my career, and I could help more people than ever before because we found out what I would call what addiction is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Addiction is a strong urge for something which is not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
and you can't say no. If you could say no, you wouldn't be addicted.
Right.
And I developed my thesis for the next 30, 40 years I worked on. You can be addicted, what I call the 3 Ps, the letter
Okay.
Ps. You can be
Yeah.
addicted to a product,
Mm-hmm.
let's say a drug,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, cigarettes, a product. You can
Mm-hmm.
be addicted to a person,
Person. Right.
and you can be addicted to a P like a procedure.
Mm.
Okay.
You meaning tattoos and piercings and things like that.
A procedure could be going every Monday night to a titty bar. A procedure could be, in
Mm.
the hardest case, to abuse
Oh,
children. Okay.
okay. Gotcha.
You know, your procedure,
Okay.
everything which is not product related or not a person related as such. If a guy goes every Monday to a titty bar, it's not about this particular woman, but he needs
Right.
this procedure which is going on. Okay.
Right. Right. That
So
stimulation.
so I developed my thesis that everybody who is into problem can have one of the 3 Ps or more than one of them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once I realized this, I could help more of my clients as a management and health consultant than ever before, because I detected that basically most of them were addicted to something. And with this doctor, he found out and he healed me that I was addicted to certain foods.
Hmm.
Okay. You can be addicted to food. You can be addicted to anything. We had a patient in this time, he was addicted to milk. He would drink every day 2 gallons of milk.
Oh,
And
wow.
the doctor said to him in my presence, I mean, I was there 24/7 with him, and I learned and I listened, and we made tests. He said to the patient, I never forget, you got to stop today. If not, you will die. It will kill
Mm-hmm.
you. He didn't give up. He couldn't give up. 2, 3 months later, he was dead. You can be
Mm.
addicted to anything. And of course, we nowadays know that people can be addicted to all kinds of drugs and crack and whatever you call them, right?
Right.
But a lot of people are addicted to sugar, to sweets, to candies,
Yes.
to
Yes.
soda pops, to energy
Mm-hmm.
drinks. They cannot give it up. If they could give it up, they wouldn't be addicted. The addiction is stronger, and this is the basic sentence. The addiction is stronger than your free will to say no.
Wow.
That's all what an addiction is. Now, an indicator for addiction is always, that's my second thesis, a strong craving.
Mm-hmm.
A strong craving is a proof you are addicted to it.
Right.
You don't wake up in the morning and say, oh, I need a nice salad now with tomatoes and fresh lettuce, right? Otherwise, I cannot pass the day, right?
I know those words have never come out of my mouth.
Exactly. Okay. But a coffee, a cigarette before it gets started, or even some people, of course, alcohol, when they're heavy on
Right.
alcohol, they start with alcohol for breakfast, right? The
Yes.
addiction is stronger. It's a craving, and the craving runs your life. You don't run your life.
Mhm.
The craving, which
Craving does.
is
Yeah.
an addiction, does it. Okay.
Mhm.
It runs your thinking, your motivation to make money, how to make money, what to do, how to spend the day, how you spend your free time. So I realized this and I applied it as a management consultant. I could help more people than ever before. Because the first thing I did, they told me about their company and their problems they have, blah, blah, blah. I said, fine, fine, fine. But I wanted to know, what is your problem, personal problem?
Mm.
Because you cannot handle the problems in your company if you are addicted, for example, let's take an easy example, to energy drink. And you need
Mm.
2 energy drinks to get up in the morning, and you get 3 during the day, and la 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 la, because it builds you up, it puts you in a crash. And I will try to present in this short amount of time what happens. Okay, what
Yeah.
happens here?
Yeah. Because I really want to know, like, when the caffeine, how does it affect your brain?
Okay,
When.
okay.
Yeah.
First of all, I must say that, and again, I turned myself voluntarily into a coffee addict
Mm-hmm.
when I decided to find out. What happened is, over 15 years, I gave live seminars, and I always warned people about caffeine. Okay.
Yes.
And the people told me, look, Norbert, don't warn us about it. Give us a segment next time you come back with caffeine, right? I said, okay, I will do this. And that was a month before the shutdown, the COVID shutdown, and I couldn't
Yes.
travel, I couldn't give seminars. So I said, okay, here's my time now. I cannot deliver seminars. I cannot travel the world. I traveled 39 countries in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, I cannot travel. Let me find out. And I'll turn myself into a coffee addict. And every morning I would drink 1 cup of coffee, only one. Okay. And the plan was after 30 days, I stop and I walk away from it. Okay.
Mm.
That was the plan. Now, when I dealt with alcoholics, I must say here for everyone out there and every alcoholic, I love you. And I know it's not your weakness of your will, as many people blame you.
Right.
Every alcoholic, the next day after, she swears to God, I will never ever drink again. And
Of course. Yeah.
means it.
Yes.
It means it with all the heart. And comes the point where the craving is stronger than your free will, right? And then you have all kinds of excuses. If it's a rainy day, you said such a shitty weather, I got to drink something to enjoy the day. If the sun is shining, the alcoholic says, look, it's such a beautiful day, we got to celebrate it, right? He always has this reason, the justification. Okay, I've got to say this because then my story makes more sense. So after 4 weeks of drinking every day a coffee, the first day were very bad, the acidity in my stomach, the pain, but I got to sacrifice my life for science, right? So I sacrificed my health, okay? So after 30 days, I said, okay, today's the last day. Okay, last coffee in the drive-in on the way to the company. The next day, I said, oh, come on, what's another day?
Right.
Come on, don't be so German. I'm German, don't be so stiff, right? Be more relaxed, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, I drank a coffee. The second day, come on, another day doesn't count. And I found myself in this loop having justifications. And why didn't you say 60 days? Why did you limit it to 30 days? You should have said 60 days. And I looked in the mirror and said, Craig, you are now the same like
addicted.
your clients. I'm addicted, right? And it took me 2 months to get out of it.
Wow.
And it was only 1 cup a day. So an addicted person has 2 problems, not only one, typically 2 problems to my discovery and my findings over 45 years. The first problem is he has a physical dependency.
Mm-hmm.
The product does something physically in his body, which his body is craving for. The second thing is he has a mental problem because he knows I'm addicted. And with every alcoholic I met and I tried to help, the mental part was so strong because it meant loss of self-respect.
Mm.
And with every time he failed to fight the craving, he had a loss. He lost his self-respect.
Right.
You take a guy in the sports, he's a tennis player. He loses every day, every match. He will stop looking at his technical tennis playing. He's doubting his personality, his strength. Right. So everybody who's addicted more or less knows, understands, I'm losing my own chess game against myself. Can you see that? Can we agree there?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, good. So whether it's caffeine or LSD or alcohol, is always a fight against a craving.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to make a big step. Why is caffeine the problem? Again, It's not coffee, it's coffee. It's caffeine in the coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm telling you now. For some people are going to be far-fetched, but hang in there. I usually make sense. I try to. We have God-given emergency programs.
Yes.
Emergency programs, which are stronger than our free will to decide. The emergency program decides for us. I give you a quick example. Number 1, number 2 are emergency programs. You feel the pressure. The pressure tells you, you got to go to this place now. If you don't, you will find out what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you throw up, if you have diarrhea, these are emergency programs of the body recognizing some stuff in the body which should get out of the body.
Right.
Sleep is an emergency program. As a young guy, I tried to stay awake while I was driving the car because I desperately wanted to get home. I fell asleep. I didn't want to fall asleep. I fell asleep and I suddenly wake up and I knew I was sleeping for a second, for a minute. I had no idea. I was still on the road. I was not dead. And it scared the crap out of me.
Wow.
Because the body said, look, I don't care. You want to go home. I
Right.
need sleep.
You need to rest. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't agree with it, I tell you what I'm going to do. These are emergency programs. There are many of them. Fever is one of them. Okay. And so on and so forth. In my book, I explain more about it. But get this concept. The biggest emergency program we have is chronic stress.
Okay. Explain.
Of course I will. Because if I leave you alone with this one, people out there say, what the heck is he talking about? All right. So we go back 50,000 years. 50,000 years ago in the wild, when you were running into a saber-toothed tiger, it scared the crap out of you. You
Fear.
had fear of death. Not only fear, but fear of death, right? In this moment, God-given emergency program, every function in your body which is not needed to fight or to run, flight or fight mode. We heard that, right? Flight or fight mode.
Right.
This is where it comes. This is where it comes from. God says, you don't need to sex with your wife now. Don't think about it. Cut it off. You were hungry 5 minutes ago. Not important. You don't feel hungry anymore. Your left arm was hurting you. You hurt yourself. You don't feel the pain anymore. Everything you don't need to fight or to fly will cut off. It's not needed to survive. Because either you got to fight the tiger or you got to run faster than the tiger. You got to outsmart it, right? Okay. So this is an emergency program, God-given. And what happens in this situation, you have adrenaline glands sitting on the top of your kidneys. And the adrenaline glands in this emergency program produce adrenaline through the roof. All the adrenaline, which you could normally voluntarily, by will, not activate, the body activates it for you. It overruns your thoughts. It overrules your decision. It's not a decision you make. The emergency fear of death makes that decision. You need adrenaline through the roof. So adrenaline glands, here's your command. Pump up adrenaline as much as you can because the guy needs to run or to fight. So far, so good?
Yeah. Yes,
good.
Absolutely.
Good. So now you have to understand that. Otherwise, you don't understand what I'm saying about caffeine. Now, if you drink caffeine, the caffeine mimics the emergency fear of death situation and let the adrenaline glands produce adrenaline through the roof. The mechanic is the exact same. It's not under your control. The adrenaline glands produce adrenaline through the roof, which means at the same time, the adrenaline gland, the body says, well, sex with your wife is secondary. Being thirsty is not so important. It concentrates on this buildup of adrenaline, which I explain in details in the book. Okay, I give you the quick one rundown. So what happens if the adrenaline glands produce adrenaline glands through the roof? Your heart pressure goes up. Okay, the veins expand. You need more blood flow in your body. Your lungs pump more. Okay, it's the fight or flight mode, which I show you here in the graphic. What happens to your body? You're not relaxed. You're not in a situation, okay, I'm going to meditate now. I got to sit down and cool and the world is good and I'll be fine. No. The world goes on this harmful trip. This happens when you drink caffeine.
Mm.
So the caffeine, of course, people say, when I drink coffee, I can work longer. I'm not tired. Yes, sure not. Of course you're not tired. The body says, you have no time for being tired. We need energy. You need to run. You need to pump. You need to fight. Well, the boss in your office is not a person you would fight with a knife now, okay? He gets you on the next he gets you on the next palm tree, but
It depends on my review.
okay.
Go
So
ahead.
you got to understand this mechanism, which I explain in detail in the book, with
Yeah.
all the physical, medical sideways and what happens in details. But this is the construct. Now, people say, look, when I get up in the morning, I need coffee first to get started.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and it's true. They're so much washed out that they cannot start the day, right? And they need this energy kick to get on a normal level. Where I don't need that kick, I'm on a good normal level without getting that drug. Because let's face it, what happens? The drug imitates artificially a condition which you naturally don't have.
Hmm.
How do you get to a natural high energy condition? Well, you get to a natural high energy condition if you do sports, if you eat healthy food, if you drink healthy water, which most of us don't do, which is one of my topics I teach about healthy water. Okay. If you're free from electromagnetic radiation, cell phones, and all this crap. If you have a target in life you want to accomplish, if you have love, if you have happiness, if you have confidence in yourself as a spiritual being, these are all the sources. Go out in the sunshine. We're all living too much. I call it living in a fridge with air condition. We're not
Right.
outside in the sun. As kids, we used to play in the sun outside most of the
All
day,
time. Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. So how many kids do this nowadays? All right.
Not many.
Inside the house, inside the building, no natural light, only artificial light, which is damaging. So all the sources of natural energy receiving, we have cut off, reduced to a bare minimum, to almost non-existence. So as we don't have the natural energy by our lifestyle, by a healthy lifestyle, we need that energy flow from artificial sources.
Yeah. Right.
Which could be a wild movie, which could be a crazy game on a console, which could be alcohol, which could be drugs, which could be coffee, caffeine.
Mm.
Now, what you need to know about caffeine is that caffeine, if you drink a coffee in the morning, it takes up to 20 hours to get it out of your system.
Whoa. Okay.
But the average person drinks a coffee in the morning or two, then goes to the company. The coffee
Right.
machine is already running, people already left and right, and then you have a coffee in between, and then the afternoon and the evening and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So the level of caffeine in your body never comes down to a natural zero.
Mm.
And every time you drink caffeine, you put yourself, your body, into a stress mode.
Wow.
It goes down, is almost zero. You take caffeine, you go up, means stress. The production of adrenaline is stress, because the body thinks I need this energy now to survive this dangerous situation. But the situation is not dangerous as such anymore. It's the stress level. And stress is primarily a question of your mindset, not of the
Correct.
circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
If you invite me tomorrow, I come out to you, we have dinner together, and you want to take me to a football game, right?
Right.
I have zero interest in football. Being a German, American football is kind of okay. And I've never seen in my lifetime, I've never seen a football game. Never,
Really?
never
Okay.
ever.
Okay.
I love basketball. My two grandsons are basketball guys.
Oh wow. Okay.
And I love basketball. So now you take me to the football game, right? You bought 2 expensive tickets, and you're very, come on, I bought the best tickets for your town. You're gonna take a football game. I said, okay. I say, okay, I come along. I want to be nice, social. I said, come along. Okay, good. We're spending time. That's most important.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting in the car, and you say, we're tight. We should have left a few minutes earlier. Okay, let's go. And you drive the car. And as we go down the street to go to the place, I see you looking at the clock all the time. There's a heavy traffic. We're coming later and later. What happens to you now?
The stress levels are rising. Yeah.
Okay. What happens to me?
You're starting to get stressed as well.
No, not stressed
Really?
at all. Because I don't give a damn about the football.
That's true. I thought it'd be because you'd be worried about my driving.
No. So I don't care about the football game.
Yeah.
So why would I get stressed? If we miss the first 10, 15 minutes, you say, we're going to miss the
Doesn't
first
matter
10
to you.
minutes. And I say, so what? The game is how long? 2 hours? And you miss 10 minutes? Come on. That's too intellectual for you. Because emotionally, you are attached to this, and it's important to you.
Yeah.
As it is important, you give it importance. The importance creates the stress. I give no importance. I'm not stressed out at all. So the importance to something creates primarily the stress. Of course, if you meet a tiger there on the street, that's not in your imagination. This is a true source of stress, right? But for the most part in our life, the stress we have is created by mental dependency and by the importance you give to every situation, every person. You go down the street and you act very normal. You walk very normal. Suddenly, you see a sexy actress, let's say Jennifer Lopez is still actress, sexy, I don't know. She comes up the street and you walking, you walk differently like before.
Yes.
You walk differently. You're not the same relaxed guy you were 1 minute ago.
Right.
Because the idea of her, meeting her, and she may look at you, puts you under stress, which creates an increase of adrenaline.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the key information. This is what caffeine does. And whether it's from coffee or from soda pops or from whatever, doesn't matter. Caffeine creates adrenaline rushes. And these adrenaline rushes have a lot of health consequences, which I explain in my book, of course. Okay. So far, so good?
Yes. But there's studies out there that praise the benefits of coffee. What do you say about those studies?
Okay. First of all, I'm a very extreme, direct, forward guy. I don't have time to be politically correct. I don't have time to tap dance. I'm too old for marketing stunts. The first question is always, who has financed these studies?
Okay.
98%, 99% of all scientists are paid by the government or by a company. How many independent scientists we have who just publish what they're finding, whether it's somebody interest or not? Okay. If you find certain scientists working for a corporation, and if you have a private talk, our time getting up here soon. If you have a private talk, these people will confirm to you that they can only find what the company wants them to find. Plenty of examples in the world, plenty of examples. So I don't care. If tomorrow I say, look, in heroin is vitamin C. Oh, vitamin C in heroin. Does it make it heroin better?
Right. No.
So people concentrate. When my youngest daughter started to look into wheat, and I said to her, look, baby, it's bad news. She came up with all kinds of researches and YouTube videos and testimonials from people who talked about how good wheat is. Right? There's not a subject under the sun which is objectively bad, where you don't find somebody who says something positively, what is a good thing about it. So I don't listen to this. I just take now with caffeine a very simple, at the end of the show, I give you some quick examples.
Yeah.
They found a study in the University of Southern Australia. They found a study they had a test with 17,000 people. 17,000 people. That's a lot.
Yes.
And their finding was a certain amount of caffeine you consume per day reduces your gray brain matter.
Mm-hmm.
It reduces your gray brain matter. And similar results from a study in Switzerland. And they found it increases by, I think it was 50%, your likelihood of dementia. Have you heard about that study before?
I have not. That's a new one on me.
Okay, it's in my book. And in my book, I don't talk about it. I give you the references with a QR code. With a QR code, you can look at the original reference. I'm not making this up, right?
Right.
The University of La Compostela in Spain, they found that women being pregnant and drinking caffeine had early deliveries on babies. And the babies were all underweight.
Oh, wow.
Now, think about this. My theory is that the problem we have today with autism on the rise with kids, you heard that in the news, right?
Yes.
Autism. Okay. There may be several reasons. One reason for me is the increase of electromagnetic radiation, cell phone, Wi-Fi, and so on. One potential reason for me is every pregnant mother or pregnant woman who's expecting and who still drinks caffeine, the mother will share caffeine with the baby in the womb.
Yes.
There's no other way possible. Whatever she drinks and what she mentally goes through, she shares with the unborn baby, right? So now see that point. The mother is pregnant 10 months and keeps drinking energy drinks, soda pops. All the caffeine ends up in the unborn baby, which is much more sensitive and vulnerable than the mother itself, right?
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
call it caffeine for an unborn baby, the gateway to later life in drug and to all kind of damages. Now, if you listen to that study, a reduction of gray brain matter in the brain of adults. What will it do to unborn baby's brain? Come on, guys, wake up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So once the baby is born at the age of 2, 3, they typically start to eat French fries and drink soda pops, right? In most cases.
Yes. Most cases, yes.
So they're already hooked for caffeine. And so they continue their journey, what I call the gateway to drugs. They continue their journey with caffeine now. And then as a 10, 12 years old, they start with energy drinks, higher doses.
Yeah.
So I opened the gateway to drugs for these kids. That's my philosophy.
Wow. I didn't start with coffee until I was probably in my 20s, right? I did drink a lot of soda pop as a younger child, but when I finally got out on my own is when I finally started drinking coffee and things like that. And then it got to the point I really didn't, early on I didn't like the taste of coffee, so I would drink energy drinks, and I went around trying different ones till I found one that I liked. And I was a big Monster drinker. I would get the big tall cans of Monster Energy. And it got to the point with that it didn't affect me anymore, to where I was just drinking them for the taste. So I would drink those just like it was soda. I was drinking like 2 and 3 of those a day.
Why?
And
Why?
just because I liked the taste of them.
No.
Yeah, I was addicted.
You were addicted, and your body was used to this level. If you drink as a young boy, I said I never drink alcohol in my life. As a young boy, I tried 2, 3 beers. Okay. Did I like the taste? Not at all. I believe that everybody.
That's hard to say because Germany has some good beers.
Yeah, but I don't care about the Germans, But you see, what I'm trying to say is, the point I'm trying to make is, when you drink something out of the ordinary, completely new to your body, and it's not sweetened with sugar and blah 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 blah.
Right.
The pure coffee is very bitter
Yes.
and very very acidic in your
Yes.
stomach. Okay, you have a natural kind of defense. And you have to drink it several times to get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, all these energy drinks have truckloads of chemicals, have truckloads of sugar. And we have now, as I said in my book as well, sugar and caffeine are the most consumed drugs in the world, and
Drugs
they're
in the world, yeah.
legit. They're legit, and it makes them so dangerous. You have sugar everywhere. I mean, in cold meat, in cereals, in all kinds of foods, everywhere. Okay, so you didn't start to like it. You got addicted to it. And the same happens to hard drugs, to everything. Right. You get to the point where you get addicted to it, and you start to sacrifice, you take it, and you start to say, I like it, the taste is great, la 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 la. And yeah, that's in your world, it's a great taste. Because you are, on a degenerative slope down. Slightly, step by step. Okay. And this is the danger of all these drugs. And in my book, I speak as well about that we all live too acidic. There's several reasons why we have so many illnesses like cancer, Parkinson, dementia. For me, the number one reason is electromagnetic radiation, but then comes sugar, then comes caffeine, then comes heavy metals. We have too many microplastics in our body, in our brain, la, 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 la. They all add up. And in the book, I speak as well how acidic coffee is. And I teach you the basic of acidity, that you understand what means acidic, what's healthy, what's unhealthy, right? And I clarify some misinformation that decaf coffee is not decaf. It has lower caffeine, but it has no zero caffeine. And I give you the number. You give you the numbers.
Yeah. I did notice that in the book. And that was something I wanted to kind of expand upon, because my previous guest that talked about the caffeine addiction, Steve Frazier, he's the author of Release the Coffee Cuffs. He mentioned about decaf not being 100% free of caffeine, but never expanded upon it. So could you expand upon that just a little bit?
Of course. First of all, interesting fact is that decaf coffee was developed by a German guy, a countryman of mine. Okay, but that doesn't make me happy about it. We had some Germans who screwed up. Okay, all right, but to the most part, they were good guys.
One or two.
I'll give you an example. The caffeine concentration varies per drink. Okay, I'll give you in my book statistic. An espresso coffee has, for example, 150 to 180 milligram of caffeine. Okay, a latte macchiato has 15 to 20. A cappuccino, a cappuccino has 40, and a decaf coffee has between 10 and 40. So decaf is not the solution. And in the book, I speak as well about cacao is not a solution. And I give you the information in a separate chapter at the end of the book, what cacao does to your health. And in the book, I talk about a company I suggest, because here's the thing. When you have people who are drinking coffee, you cannot tell them, stop drinking tomorrow coffee with breakfast and your croissant, your sandwich, drink water instead, right? That doesn't work. You need, you need a substitution for coffee. It got to be a hot drink, and it got to be similar to coffee, that the withdrawal is not that big. So in the book, not in the book, in the book, I give I added a sheet after I printed the book, and the new book, it will be in the book, and everybody who buys the book now gets an additional page where I recommend a company which produces a coffee made in South Africa, which has no caffeine, no caffeine, but in taste, in smell, in texture, comes closest to coffee possible.
Wow.
So if you want to get rid of coffee, I got to give you an alternative to help you. And this, what I mentioned there, this company in America, and I found one in Germany. These two are the best alternatives I ever found.
So, the warm drink, and that's where I did the switch to decaffeinated green tea, or I would get the decaffeinated blood orange tea, or I would make or I'd get some hot lemon juice and with some honey and drink that. And those were my alternatives for that warm drink first thing in the morning.
Good.
But like I said, for me, I quit cold turkey. I had the conversation with Steve, and this wasn't even a podcast interview. This was probably a couple of weeks before I did a pre-call with him. The same way I met you, I did a pre-call with them, and we talked for 15 minutes. And I said, I'm just going to try it. And I stopped instantly. Like the next day, I had a cup that morning that I talked to him, and that was the last cup that I ever had.
Well, you are a brave soldier. I mean, for some people it works, cold turkey.
Right.
To my experience and feedback, for the most people, cold turkey does not work. It needs.
What would you recommend for people? As I know you mentioned the coffee alternative, but how would you recommend them to try to wean themselves off of it? It's in the slow change.
Yeah, it's like I always do in many different ways, even if people eat wrong food and so on. Because remember, I started off by consulting people that they have a food addiction. Okay.
Right.
And besides, coffee is a food addiction. You can have food addictions in many different products. So the first thing is find a healthy alternative, which is tasteful, a bit temptation to you. Okay. So that you don't miss this mental thing. Oh, that is gone now, right? You got to build you a bridge. So this company here I recommend in America is a great alternative. Now, if it works with you for tea, fine. Yeah. But remember, black tea, green tea, white tea, matcha tea, they all have caffeine.
Right.
Only fruit teas have no caffeine. It doesn't matter. Whatever you take, make it easy on yourself by taking a product which builds you a bridge to the world without caffeine, which means make it yourself not too hard. Because if you make yourself too hard, you may fail.
Yeah.
And you don't want to fail. You want to do it. Okay. You want to get over that bridge, over that hump. So whatever works for you, every person is different. Whether this is the recommended company there, and to make this sure, I have no interest in the company. I don't get sales commission. I'm not involved. I just want to help my people who want to get out of it to find something which helps. So for most people, and I explain in the book as well, to go in a gradient works for most people because you got to detox your body. Now, remember, when you have poison in your body, and caffeine is a poison,
right?
You gotta detox your body. I speak on other shows about detoxification. I don't like it when companies say, here's a detox product, detox in 7 days. I go crazy when I read that. I used to spend many years, I was married in China. I used to live in China, had a second home in Taiwan, Hong Kong, mainland China. And when I left China and said never again, I left for good reasons, said never again, I had to detox myself because everybody who lives in China is basically, totally rotten with poison and heavy metal. Okay.
What? Whoa. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. I can't let you get away from that one now. So why is that? Is it from
recommend
the amount of seafood that is typically
no
eaten?
from everything. It is
Mhm.
from the poison in the air, in the water, in the soil. Don't forget, if you want to learn about China, I recommend 2 books on my website. I recommend books. I don't sell these books except my coffee book. One book is called The Wild Swans, and the same author wrote a book called Mao, a biography on Mao Zedong. If you read these 2 books, you understand China.
Okay.
When I found these 2 books, I said, Jesus, why didn't you give me these 2 books 10, 20 years ago? I would have saved
Right.
so much time and energy and money, and because I would have understood what I'm dealing with.
Right.
The Chinese society was starving until the 70s, 80s, starving to death, all explained in these books. And then when the big change come about industry, manufacturing, the people were jumping on every product, on every opportunity. They had no food. They were born with no food, and now they could make money, real money, and buy. They didn't care how the food was produced, in what factories, how clean the factories were, how clean the water was. It was water. Who cared it was clean or not clean?
Yeah.
They killed their own country to the biggest part. Of course, there are nice parts in China where the food is very organic, but this food is not the one they ship to Target and to Walmart. Trust me.
Right.
That is kept for a small team of local privileged people. So when I left China, back to the point, it took me 2 years to detox myself.
Okay.
Because what happens if you detox yourself too fast, you could get into major problems. Because all the detox goes through your liver and kidneys. Everything sitting in your body and your cells has to be flushed out. Okay. And you should do this on a slow gradient that you not overwhelm your organs. So when you drink now caffeine forever, or the energy drinks have truckloads of chemicals, truckloads of sugar, and they're sitting in your body, primarily in your cells, in your brain. They have to be flushed out very gently that you don't overwhelm your body. So back to the point, take a drink which builds your bridge, which helps you to get rid of the caffeine, but be moderate with yourself. If you go too steep, the woman, I write all my material in German because I'm German and my German is perfect. My English is not. So I have to write in German. And then I translate into English. And then I give it to a lecturer to correct my English. And the woman who did that professionally, halfway through the book, she says, when I first opened your title of your book, I said, what an idiot. Because she was a coffee drinker, right?
Coffee drinker,
what an idiot. And she admitted to me, she said, what an idiot. And she said, halfway to the book, I knew you were right and I stopped. 2, 3 weeks later, she went back again. She couldn't keep it up.
Wow.
Because we're still talking to an addicted person. And it takes a lot to get off addiction. And believe me, drinking coffee for 2, 5, 10, 15 years, 3, 5, 8, 6 cups a day is a lot.
Yeah. I would say that I probably had a good 15, 16-year stretch where it was some sort of caffeine every single day.
And in the book, I explain as well the medical side, the health side effects when you go on a withdrawal with caffeine, the body reactions and so on. So I give in the book a general understanding. That's my target. Understand addiction in general, not only caffeine. Understand what it does to you mentally and physically. Understand you have a choice in life to live more or less healthy. If you say, look, screw you, I keep drinking caffeine as much as I want to, say, fine, it's all good.
Right.
I don't blame
That's
you.
your prerogative,
Just
right?
just don't come back to me and say, I need you as a health consultant now.
Right,
I have cancer. What should I do now?
right.
And I can tell you, everybody, I can only give advice. I cannot give medical treatments. What would I do if my wife has cancer? And I can tell you some other shows you want to do. We can talk about this. What I tell
Yeah.
people, 'cause our time is up, I believe.
Yes, yes, yes. We are running short on time. This was very enlightening. Please tell the Manspace Nation how they can find you, follow you, more information about you, and even find your book. Because
Okay.
I have it right here.
Okay.
I'm still working my way through it as well. But I please share that information with the Manspace Nation.
Okay. For now, we're trying to get it on Amazon. We have
Mhm.
some technical issues. I hope my people
Okay,
can fix that. But because 70-80% of all books in the world are sold through Amazon. Jesus.
correct. Yeah.
I pity the mom and pop shops. And all right, that's
Mhm.
another subject. So I have a website which makes sense. My website. It's called improveyourlife.us.
Okay.
Improve Your Life.
ImproveYourLife.us. Okay.
And on this website, you find all my materials, my talk shows, my webinars, my write ups, my interviews, my podcasts. And there's a button for the book. It's like $16 plus $3-4 shipping. And we ship it by parcel service, no, by postal service.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I would love to have you back on so we can continue this conversation because I mean, you were just scratching the surface, and it seems like there's so much more that we really would like to dive into and get more out of because
Well,
there's so much information that I think that the world needs to know about this.
I can give you quickly a bait to the audience. I speak
Mhm.
for the last 15 years about that the world is based on frequencies only. I
Yes.
work with quantum physics, frequency only. The 19 possible causes for bad sleep. More and more people have sleep problems.
Hmm.
Um, that reverse osmosis water, which most people drink as filters water, is the devil. Why is it the devil? What do you need to know about water? How do you judge I drink healthy water? I talk about the dangers of tattoos, that tattoos we know meanwhile create cancer, the harmful effects of piercings.
Hmm.
So I have a bunch of topics which I speak about, and I consider myself reliable as a source of information.
Yeah.
I work in alternative medicine for 45 years, so I've seen a lot, done a lot, but all with the idea to find things which the widespread medical world doesn't know.
Right. Or maybe they know and just don't want to accept because the money is in the treatment, not the cure.
Of course. And there's the other reason is that when medical doctors come to my seminars, they admit and they don't understand that all these topics I just mentioned are not taught in medical school.
Right.
No medical school teaches about the dangers of cell phones and Wi-Fi.
Right.
No medical school teaches about water.
Mhm.
Water is more important than food. How can you live a healthy life without healthy water? Impossible.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of, I guess, not even studies, but information that's out there about water. And I would love to get into a conversation with you just on that subject alone. Um, I was one, I ran into a gentleman who was an iridologist. This was probably about 18, 19 years ago. And they take a prism and they basically can look through your eyes and give you a physical by looking through your eyes. And they have a whole chart and they match what they see. And he could see that I one time had an ulcer in my body, which was true. He's telling me this by looking through my eye. He could see that it was there, but it's healed. And I was like, yeah, that's true. I did have one at one time. And he could see that, one lady, he even showed me, you could see the constipation that was built up through her eyes. But we got onto the subject of water, and I had a bottle of Dasani sitting there, and he's like, "How?" He says, "How can you drink that?" I'm like, "Because I needed some water and I didn't want soda." And he says, "Yeah, but look at the ingredients." I'm like, "Ingredients? You don't think about ingredients in a bottle of water." And sure enough, all the ingredients were listed there, and you're like, "Well, that ingredients they used to make bath salts with, and that ingredient," and so it made me way more self-conscious about like what I started putting into my body. I went through my refrigerator and just looking at the stuff that had the first ingredient that was high fructose corn syrup. And
Sure.
I had a trash bag and a half filled just with my refrigerator alone of throwing out stuff. And we went cold turkey. We went completely off dairy. And this was for about 6 months we did it. Dairy, probably about 90%, because it's almost impossible to survive without some sort of dairy, because our food system doesn't allow you. They may tell you this is dairy free, but it's in there under a different name. So you're still going to get, some sort of dairy unless you're 100% vegan and doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so much to it. But yeah, I would love to have you back on and have a deeper conversation with you. Thank you so much for spending some time with this. Manspace Nation, make sure you check out the website, improveyourlife.us. Get the book, Coffee Addiction and Caffeinism. Man, impactful.
Thank you for having me. And when we
Thank you
talk
so
about
much.
water, I gave you now a list of shows. So we're covered for the next 2 years, right? For the next 2 years,
Yes.
we have shows,
Yes.
right? So, and in one of the water shows, I'll talk about Dasani specifically,
Yes.
as an example.
Yeah.
It's not about killing body. It's not for me to dash a company. Dasani is a product from Coca-Cola, one of the 130 beverages they carry, right?
Right.
And it's nothing else than tap water. They admit tap water,
Yes,
running through a reverse osmosis system, right? Then I explained to you why is it for me the devil. I'm not want to dash companies or products. I want to give information that people understand.
They can, when you give people the information, they can make an informed decision on whether or not they want to stop or say, "I don't care, I'm going to continue on." Just like you mentioned in the car earlier, and the football game. You didn't care about the American football, so you were not stressed. So people with the information, if they have the information for them, they either can make a informed decision of, okay, well, I know this is bad for me, I'm not going to do it. I know this is bad for me, I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway. You can make a decision at that point.
Well, I would love to, even we're long over time, I would love to finish up with one most intense story in my life.
Yes, please.
Okay. And this story changed the way I talk to all clients from then on forward. I had this person who approached me. He says he has a heart problem and this and the other. And I checked him out. You know what kinesiology muscle testing is?
Yes.
I do muscle testing for 45 years. Okay. So I tested the person and I said, yes, your heart is weak. And the main reason your heart is weak, that's my opinion. That's not a medical statement. That's my opinion, because you have a truckload of Wi-Fi in your house, which I tested. And I said, look, if you neutralize this Wi-Fi, how your heart strength changes within a minute. I proved it to him, right? And I said, all you have to do is now, you have two options: to stop the Wi-Fi in your house and to shield your house from electromagnetic radiation, which I'm specialist in, okay? And I proved it to him that his heart immediately became stronger and healthier. And he refused. He said, I'm not going to do that. And then I asked him a question. This is the reason I'm saying this. And this question became the opening question to every further client I have from then on. I said to him, okay, I show you the road. I only can give you an advice, a recommendation. Do you want to live or do you want to die? And the guy answered me, I want to die.
Wow.
I said, okay, I don't want you convinced to live. You got to want to live.
Right.
I shook his hand and I said, bye-bye. Half a year later, his wife visited me in the office and she brought something back, which they still had in the house from my belongings. And she felt very bad about everything and so on and so forth. And she felt bad that she didn't care of him. And I said to her, look, I want to share a story. It's a very personal story, but I think I owe you the story. I asked him this question and he said he wants to die. So don't blame yourself that you are the reason he died because you did not take care of him enough. He wanted to die. And from this moment on, I tell people, here's what I would do if my wife would be in this situation. And I get about average 50 phone calls and emails per day. And I say, here's what I would do. If my wife has cancer, this is what I would do. And it's your choice to think about this, what I'm saying, and to find sources, other sources, and to follow what people say. Ultimately, it's your choice of life. And yes, nowadays with the internet, there's so much deceiving BS information out there.
It's very true.
I get every day 20, 30 emails, which after 1 second reading the headline, I just erase because for me, that's BS. And a lot from doctors, people in the medical field. We're jumping on this train and this trend, and this is now cool. I said, no, life is very easy. Truth is very simple. Truth is so simple that the majority of people will not accept it because it sounds too simple.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Amen.
Wow. Well, once again, the website improvingyourlife.us.
No, not improving.
Improveyourlife.us. Make sure you go to the correct website, not improving, but improveyourlife.us. Make sure you check out the book. And Manspace Nation, man, this is tremendous information. Go onto his website, listen to his podcast, man. Follow him, get more information, because an informed consumer is a better consumer.
It's been such a pleasure to be on your show. First time, I love it. Thanks a million for the invite.
I appreciate you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
No gimmicks, just game that my sure in sight. They shine like the city on a Friday night. Man talk, real talk, that's the way that you bless. Giving knowledge and some laughs in the same finesse. From life goes to the jokes that hit. They the tag team champs, yeah, legit with the wit. So pull up a chair, let the stress digest. From the beat drops, you know the rest.